Hello everybody, welcome to Diane Writes. This is the show where I host writing sprints and answer writing questions. And today it's all about Camp Nano and World Anvil Summer Camp. So I see a bunch of World Anvil people in the chat. Hello, thanks for joining me. Hello, hello Q, hello Delian, hello Walking Dead lover, Songbird, welcome. How's the music and voice balance? Is it alright? It's good? Okay. Alright, I'm gonna start with my progress report. You don't hear the music? Really? Uh-oh. Okay, it says it's working. It is really quiet. It's deliberately quiet. Okay, okay, good. If you hear it, that's fine. No, it's deliberately much quieter than me, right? So, okay, so I'm gonna kind of, accountability here. I'm gonna give you guys my progress report. So, go to, what am I capturing? Okay, that's what I want to capture. No, that's not what I want there. Nano, Chrome, sorry. Alright, so main, there we go. Okay. My air conditioner might be drowning it out, says Walking Dead lover. Yeah, it's entirely possible. It is deliberately quiet, right? So, alright, so here's my Camp Nano progress. I'm actually pretty happy with this. I've done 6,846 words as of yesterday, right? So as far as, I've got a 20,000 word goal, so that works for me, right? Let's check in on my cabin, see how my buddies are doing here. All right, so Katya's been doing good. She's updated her. Oh, Brianna's doing good too. And Myth Spinner Studios, that's my friend J.I. Rogers. Oh, she claimed the incognito badge. Good for her. She was writing when she should have been doing something else. Awesome. Okay, and now Princess Adora. She's insane, right? Okay, she's one of our local nano people. She's been involved, like, I think every year since they started. She lives in Kelowna, and she's always, like, way ahead of the curve on the word count. She writes these massive 300,000 word epics. I haven't read any of them yet. I would really love to, because, and she's such a nice person. She's so cool. Right, so, okay, so people are doing good. Now, as far as summer camp goes, I am behind on my prompts. As you can see, I have done 4. Let's see here. What has happened in the chat? Oh, Lorraine says, I have not been good. I've been watching world building for another region of the world, or I've been world building for another region of the world. Why not count that towards summer camp? You don't have to limit it to one world, right? You can do it. Like, I'm doing both my World Anvil worlds right now, because that's what I'm doing. And you can do the prompts for the world building area that you didn't intend to work in, right? You can change your goals halfway through. That's allowed. Yay, Q's waving got the wrench, the girl with the wrench emoji, so that's awesome. Songbird says, does homework count towards word counts? I don't think it does, unfortunately. Yes, I know, right? Trended Heroes here. Hello, glad to see you. Says, almost done with my map, so close. That's excellent. Songbird says, I'm also a 4, so okay, so we're in the same boat. Cool. Good to know that I'm not alone in my, it's my own fault. It really is, because I like to finish the article. I am not happy with leaving 500 words on the page and finishing it later. I want it done, because then I don't go, what did I do again? Which ones that happened? No, I need to finish it, at least more or less get it in a place where it can be finished. And Haywood Costello took me a while, because he's complicated and he's a major supporting character, and I needed to do that article about him anyway, so he took me like 3 days, and it's my own fault. It's like a 2,000 word article. It didn't have to be. I did it to myself, right? So Dillian says, I'm currently working on my 10th article. Good for you. So you're going to get your copper badge today. Right on. Way to go. That's excellent. Walking Dead lover will be right back because she's grabbing lunch. Okay, that's totally cool. E. Songbird says, yep, need it done and edited and polished. You too, eh? Yeah, okay. I know, it's terrible, right? Lorraine says, I write a summary and then fill out the summary of my articles. That's smart. That's smart. I wish I were smart. Trended Hero says Sable is the bestest Sable. Well, thank you. I'm glad to be the bestest Sable. There are other Sables out there, so if I'm the bestest, that's awesome. All right, and you know, Quilly and Q is also encouraging Dillian and congratulating him, which is awesome. You guys want to see my articles? Just kind of briefly. I don't know if you do. Or if you guys want to get right to writing, I'm fine with that too. E. Songbird says, I've actually found that I have to take a recording app, ramble for 5 minutes, and use the transcription generated to create the foundation for my World Anvil Summer Camp prompts. That's a really good idea. What a clever thought. Yeah, sure. Just talk about the ideas that are in your head, and then you can get it down on the screen. I did that yesterday, actually. I was kind of hesitating over my Apex Predator article, and then I started talking about it with my husband in the car when we were on the way to my mother's, and he was like, well, why don't you do this, right? And I was like, oh yeah, that's perfect. So then I was able to go home and finish it. So awesome. Yeah. Q said, if I do that with my worlds, I think they'd lock me up. No, people expect science fiction and fantasy writers to be weird. We're one of the people that are allowed to be eccentric in society, along with rich people and tech nerds, I think, you know. So no, it's okay. You'll be all right. Meth gators everywhere. Hey man, I seriously saw something about a jacked up meth squirrel. I'm not making this up. I saw this. Someone posted a link in my Discord yesterday. I'm like, it was a squirrel that was hanging around a meth lab, and they couldn't test it for meth, but they're pretty sure it was wrecked. Q says that was today's Apex Predator meth gators. E. Songbird says, thanks, I hate it. Delian says, I think we saw a mention of a meth squirrel as well. Oh, you know, yeah. Lorraine says, who had meth gators on their bingo card 2020 for July? This is fucking 2020. I would not be surprised at anything. Nothing will surprise me. They'll tell me, hey, they already confirmed unidentified flying objects using like the, you know, US Navy pilots confirmed, right, that you know, and the footage was legit, and there's stuff out there that is doing stuff that we do not think is possible by our current technology and physics. And so, you know, if the aliens showed up tomorrow, I'd be like, oh yeah, are you like the, you know, world destruction types, or are you the keep us in the zoo types, which I don't blame you, right? Or are you like going to uplift us so we get our shit together? I would really approve, right? So no, wouldn't surprise me at all. Meth gators, nothing, man. Yeah, Q says checks out as a candidate for the Zodiac Gator for this year. Zodiac Gator? Okay. The Zodiac animal, I mean. I got gators on my mind. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, sure, why not? You know, we have the regular Zodiac, we have the regular, you know, Chinese Zodiac, and then we have 2020, which makes no sense to anybody for any reason, right? Jillian says, stay off my lawn, alien scum. Yeah. Yeah. Some Independence Day kind of sentiment right there, right? Who was it? I know it was one of you guys in the chat. It might have been Q. I don't know. Somebody sent me a link. No, it wasn't. It was I don't remember. I'm sorry. If you did it, then claim credit because it was great. Sent me a link to an account on Twitter that was tweeting the events of the movie Independence Day in real time as they happened on the July 4th weekend, and it was great. So definitely check that out. I think it's I don't know, just type in Independence Day in real time in Twitter, and I'm sure you'll find it. So yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna show you what I've done here briefly anyway. Where am I? Okay, there. That's where I want to be. All right. So I've been alternating back and forth between my two worlds, and I think I'm probably going to try to keep this pattern. This is my article for the long lost item myth, right? And this is, I've kind of briefly covered this before. It's a train. It's based on the song Spanish Train by Chris de Burgh. I've included a link to the video here, right? And it's about a train where God and the devil play poker for the souls of the dead. It's pretty cool. It's a cool concept. It just had to be in my Weird West. It made perfect sense for my world. So, and these are all quotes from the song and whatnot. I had a lot of fun writing this article. Okay, that second one, Crown of the Stars. I'm proud. Dimmy liked this one, right? Just checking my frame rate there. Okay, yeah, it's good. Oh, somebody's hosting me. World Anvil's hosting me. Welcome, World Anvil. Thank you very much for the host. I was very proud that Dimmy liked this article. I'm like, oh, he likes it. That's great, because he's into science fantasy stuff. Hi, Secondhand Samurai. Good to see you. Right, this is the Crown of the Stars. This is the lost crown of the Avalonian Empire. Right? It indicates the mandate of rule. This is their crest, which I came up with when I figured out the role that the crown played in their history, right? They fought over it, of course. Different ethnic groups of elves were fighting over who got to rule the empire, and it was lost either then or during the First Interstellar War when they first started fighting orcs in space, or somewhere on where one of the worlds within it, the major worlds, is called Carthan, right? And there was a war between human supremacist empire and elves and other people in that area, and it may have disappeared then too, right? Contradictory sources. Always include contradictory sources in your history stuff, because then it gives you, for one thing, it's fun, it gives you latitude, right? And for another thing, it provides a feel of realism, because history, people never agree on it, and the prevailing theory is based on the knowledge we have at the time and can change within, a couple of years dramatically, right? So, and there's a spoiler there. So, yeah. All right, so this is the article that took up the bulk of my time, and you're going to get to see my NPC stuff that I did for game, because that's going to be visible on my version of the article. If you guys go to it, you won't see this because I filled out the Great GM NPC sheet because I thought it was really useful. Yeah, Haywood Costello, a priest and lawman with big appetites and a bigger heart. Right, so these are all quotes from my book where I mentioned him, and it's stuff about who he is and what he looks like, and stuff that communicates his personality, right? I think he's a lot of fun. He's the leader of the Gunslinger Order, right? Which is an order of basically paladins with firearms, right? And he's a bit of a colorful character, so he's a lot of fun. He's the mentor figure to the protagonists in the story, so. Alright, and the one I finished last night, my Star Kraken. I've been talking about this for a couple of days. I was very excited about the idea. I'm very proud of that picture, but I didn't do it. This is like 2 public domain pictures that have been mashed together. Right. I had to make sure to include some, vivid tentacle pictures, because you can't do giant octopuses in space without tentacles, right? I would think. Right? It is said that some species grow to fit their environments. The deep void of space has a lot of space. So perhaps it should surprise no one that with a cosmic environment in which to grow, there are creatures that grow to cosmic sizes. And it eats stars, and when it is a baby, it eats asteroids. So, oh, Timmy liked that one too. I thought he might. I thought that would appeal to him. Cool. Yeah, he likes the same kind of stuff I do, weirdness in space. I'm like there. So, all right, cool. So that's where I'm at. Holy crap. People have been talking while I've been yapping. Posture check, cool. Hydrate, shit, I forgot to bring, like, something actually thirst quenching. I will drink my coffee for the time being, and I promise you I will go and get something on the break. Okay. And he highlighted his message. Sable is number one. number one. Thank you. Cool. E Songbird says, GM sheet doesn't go to the public page. Didn't know that. That's what it said in the little fine print underneath that section. So I'm pretty sure that's true, but you know, if you want, here, go ahead and check it. I'll put the link to that article in the chat, and then that way you guys can check it out if you want to confirm whether it shows up or not. Because, yeah, might be important to know, right? I don't know why I do this. Every time I come in here and I start filming, it's like, okay, it's filming. It shows you how old I am. Okay, streaming, right? I put slippers on because it's cold when I come in here, and then within 5 minutes I'm taking the slippers off. So, yeah. I think you click a little check mark to make it visible, says Walking Dead Lover. Cool. I have no intention of making it visible in my case, right? The NPC stuff is strictly for when we're working with the character in-game, which we have done, right? And probably will do again, right? And so, yeah, it doesn't need to go public. It repeats a lot of the information that's in some of the other fields, right? It just makes it more succinct so you can look at it at a glance, which I thought was rather clever, and I see the wisdom in the great GM's ideas as far as that goes, right? So, yeah, it's everything you might need about the character except for his character sheet, which that's Aaron's problem, that's not my problem, right? At a glance, right? There it is. So, yeah, all right. So, do people have things they want to discuss about writing or Camp Nano or about summer camp before we get to some sprints? Or are people in the mood to like, holy shit, I need to write today? Because, you know, I'm here for you guys, right? And it's what you want to do that's important. For myself, I would like to get some writing done. I'm, you know, obviously need to. But that's totally your call. I'm going to show you what I'm currently working on since I'm, yeah, I guess you need to see my screen, don't you? There we go. Okay, so I am currently, since I'm alternating worlds, I am doing the condition caused by a drug or medicine, and this is based in my Weird West world, and this is something that actually appeared in my story, right? The gunslingers use a hallucinogenic compound as part of their vigil ritual to bring on visions, and that's when they initiate and become gunslingers, right? So I am writing about that. And I know I've been, you know, all in the chat about it doesn't have to be getting wrecked on drugs, right? And then I write about something that's getting wrecked on drugs, but it's in my book. I need to do this article anyway. I chewed on whether or not I was going to do this world or Toy Soldier, because in the Toy Soldier saga, I have some other rituals. See, I apparently like using drugs in rituals in my book, right? I don't know, it's a thing, right? But there is an orc ritual where you smell the stimulant herb, right? Which they burn on a brazier that they call Witch's Eye, and it gives you like heightened senses, right? And this is for a rite of passage ritual where they go out into the most dangerous area of their jungle and like they have to kill something and bring it back that is like, you know, a serious predator, right? If I were writing about apex predators on the orc homeworld, I would write about dinosaurs. There are dinosaurs there because, of course, there are dinosaurs, right? Oh, thank you very much for the follow. Author Jmac or Jmac, J-E Mac. So, J-E Mac probably. Thank you for the follow. Welcome. Glad to see you. Okay, and then Walking Dead Lover says, I need to finish my last 3 articles. Okay, so that sounds to me like the strong feelings are leaning towards getting some damn writing done, right? J.E. Max says, you're the only one that figured out that it's J.E. Well, Twitch doesn't give you a lot of options for how you capitalize things, does it? So, but cool. Yay, I'm glad I figured it out. Well, welcome, and thanks for joining me, and I hope you enjoy the channel and the show, and are you ready to get some writing done? Are you working on Nano, or Camp Nano? Yeah, it does. He says, yeah, the capitalize with the J-E Mac looks weird. Yeah, I agree, it does. And they don't let you, like, split it up, right? Make it separate words. I tried that with Sable Erodia. They would not let me do it. Okay, we're going to do some writing. What do you guys want to start with? 10 minutes, 15? And J. Max says, just procrastinating at the moment. That's cool. I bet 90% of the people here are all like lurking and listening, so because they're writing, so they're smart. Walking Dead Lover says 15 is a good start. Lorraine says, yeah, I was sad I couldn't make Lorraine Allay into Lorraine Allay with the space. Yeah, I know, right? It's not fair. Alright, we're gonna do 15 minutes. Sounds good. Q redeemed a posture check. Thank you. I need it. Hey, you know what? Because you guys have been so good about the posture checks, I'll show you. I got my reading glasses. I have a bunch of these, and I never wear them, right? And so what happens is they sit on my shelf, and then they get like all smeared. And this is also all smeared, I see. So I have to. But I cleaned this one before I went live because I figured maybe it would help me to actually have glasses I could see out of. So here's hoping that worked. Oh, and redeemed hydrate. Yes, I only have coffee. I forgot to bring my drink. I promise you I will go and get something that is actually not a diuretic in the break, which we will do probably after we're done checking in on the sprint. So, but in the meantime, I'll drink coffee. Thank you. I owe 2 now. I'm paying attention. So, all right. J. Max says to Lorraine, wish I could use periods. I know, right? Just something to separate it so that people aren't freaking confused. Okay, I can sort of see out of those. They'll work. There's like a white haze, but it's all right. Okay, so we're going to get writing. That's what we're going to do. I need glasses, and my appointment with the optometrist is on Friday. So I am being good. So all right. So if everyone's ready to start, I think we're gonna start now. Thank you, Lorraine. She says snazzy glasses. So. About 2 minutes left, guys. All right, and that's time. Well, I don't think I've been as happy about how a writing sprint went for me since we started doing these things, eh? That was like, I was on a roll there. Lorraine says she just got new glasses, which she must have said just as we went to the... I'll go to downtime here first. Yeah, which she must have said just as we went to the sprint. Walking Dead Lover says, I just dropped a piece of sausage and my cats fought over it. So distractions are already occurring. I have a story about cats. I'll tell you in a minute, right? Once I've done catching up with the chat. E-Songbird said, oh, thank you. I love Sable's writing sprints so much. They're my favorite to write to. Well, thank you. That's great. I'm glad they are helpful, right? I have family over, so I can't stay in and spend, but I rewatch them to have a sprint. Yeah, I can't stay in sprint, but I rewatch them to have a sprint partner when time allows. Well, that's great and cool. However you want to use them is totally fine by me, right? So awesome, and I'm glad they're helpful. And if you can't stay, that's okay, you know? I often catch up on streams that I watch afterwards. I think I watch about half of the World Anvil streams live, and then the other half I watch when I, you know, have an opportunity, right? So, you know, your mileage may vary, right? And that's cool. Yep, bye, E-Songbird. Thank you for joining us. Oh! AJX Auditor, or Auditore, please tell me how to pronounce that. Says, afternoon, Sable. Afternoon to you too. I think this is the first time I've seen you in the chat since you followed me, so thank you for the follow, and welcome. I'm going to add up my words here, since I have caught up to the chat. Oh wait, no, I was going to tell you a story. Okay, you know what, I'll add up my words first, and then I'll tell you the story about cats. Right, so, let's see here. I got to put this all in the word counter, because it's all on separate things. But I have wordcounter.net on board. I don't have to do this when I'm working in Word. I don't think I have to do this when I'm working in manuscripts either on World Anvil, because they have a built-in word counter, which is handy. Where the hell was my window? There it is. Okay. I know I got like 10 million tabs. You know what? I'm an idiot. You know what I should do? Save changes. That's what I should do. And then, instead of doing this piece by piece, wait, no, I'm counting, no, I still have to do it this way because I'm counting the sprint words, not the words of the article. Okay, because yeah. So that's different. I'm not going to enter my totals into, okay, no, I already did that one. Okay, I'm not going to enter my totals into Camp Nano until I'm done for that reason. Because it's just easier to copy and paste the whole page. But if you are not doing things in this way, then and you are doing Camp Nano, you should remember, enter your totals. Because otherwise you will not get credit for your badges and stuff, and that is no fun. I have a new follow. Cool. Nicole rules. Well, you definitely rule, and thank you for the follow. That's really awesome. I really appreciate it. I was right. I was right. Good. Auditory. All right. AJX Auditory. Nicole Rule says, that's so many tabs. Sable, what are you doing with that many tabs? Because I'm insane. This is normal, right? Because if I don't do that, then things are out of sight, out of mind. I forget that I'm working on them, and I kind of lose them because I have so many projects going. I used to be organized, and I would write them down. I would copy them down into OneNote, right, and make a list of things I have to do. And then I got so busy I forgot that because I'm, you know, untreated ADD, I think. I don't know. They did not check people for ADD when I was in school, and I was managing my schoolwork, so, but, yeah. Lorraine says, laughs in 2 windows of way too many tabs. Walking Dead Lover says, 310 words. Good work. Excellent. That's great. Nicole Rules says, oh my god, everyone says that. Oof. Sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. But it's natural. It's a good, okay, sorry. Right. Nicole Rules says, I use a million sticky notes. I can't cope with so many tabs. If I had any place to put the damn things, I would probably do that. I think I would implode if I have more than like 10 tabs nowadays. And that would be wiser if I kept it down, because then I would stop having stream issues, right? Walking Dead Lovers says 5 minutes of the sprint was tearing my cats off one another. Well, then you did better than me, because I think I might... Actually, this is where I was, wasn't I? Yes. So, I only got a little bit more than you did, and I was on what I considered a roll. So, I did 385 words, and I'm proud of myself for that. That's a good sprint for me. I'm not the fastest word sprinter, right? Because I edit as I go, I think about things, you know, all the stuff they tell you not to do, but I find that if I don't, then I just obsess over it, and I don't get it done, right? So, everybody's got their own process. One thing I know for a fact, having watched Janet's writing streams in many ways and listened to her talk about writing, is that her process and my process are 2 entirely different animals. She would not be able to work with my system. I would not be able to work with her system. And yet, we both use the word landfill. I love it because it's good for us both. So we're good planning there. Okay. AJX Auditory says, but I'm at work, wanted to stop by and quickly only out on a couple hours, line out in a couple hours. I'll catch you on Discord. Okay, that's cool. That's great. You can always watch these later too. They're archived for 2 weeks, right? So, you know, if you want, you know, a friendly voice to sprint with, then I'm here. And lots of people do that, and that's totally fine. I do that too. So, you know, with streamers that I watch. So thanks for coming in. Nice to see you. Lorraine says, I also stopped writing to try and determine if dragon slaying was a tradition or a technology. And Nicole Rules says, impossible editing is a fallacy. Catch you later. Catch you later. Thanks very much. That's awesome. Yeah, I don't know. What did you decide on, Lorraine? Was it a technology or a tradition? I would personally have called it a profession myself, but hey, you know, then again, maybe you don't have like people who dedicate themselves to dragon slaying, right? So, that's neat. I don't know which prompts haven't you done yet that it would fit into. Do it for that one. There you go. That's how you do it. I know. It's not cheating because it's within the rules. It's just min-maxing. It's munchkinning. That's what it is. All right, so I'm gonna catch. Cats. Tell you about my cats. Then I'm gonna take a quick break. Go get the things to drink so that if you redeem your hydrate, I will actually have something to drink. Okay, so I have a new cat, and how this occurred is that my cat brought it home, right? I have a three-legged rescue cat named Scooter. He's starting to get old now. He's scruffy old Tom. Thank you. That's 3 hydrates I gotta catch up on now. Hello, Jokes. Nice to see you. Welcome. Thanks for peering in. Walking Dead Lover says they need a new drink too, right? Nicole says, hydrate before you dehydrate. Yes, very important. I promise you. Oh, okay, so I'm just gonna like drink a glass of water, I guess, at this point, because I got 4 hydrates now I gotta redeem. Thank you. Oh, and posture check. Thank you. Useful. Yeah, my nano shirt from last year. Okay. Okay, so my cats, right? So Scooter is a 3-legged rescue cat that we adopted from the animal rescue. He apparently lost his leg to a lawnmower. Yikes, right? Because he was a stray living behind a burger joint. He's like, ratty ears, scratch through his nose, he's that guy, right? And when I got him, we had a dog, right? Whose name was Blue. Right? And they became the best of friends, and they did everything together, and they hung out all the time. And Scooter had trouble warming to us, right? Because he'd been a stray for so long, but he warmed to Blue really quickly, right? And, they became partners in crime. They used to do things like they figured out if the 2 of them sat side by side and looked up at me and begged, they would be far more likely to get food because they were so cute. I just couldn't resist them. And they developed a liking for cheese and, Anyway, so Blue died of old age, and Scooter was inconsolable, right? He wandered around. He would scratch at the tree where they used to sit, and I think he was trying to get Blue's smell, right? Because it was embedded in the tree, right? And he would sit there, and he wandered around looking for him, and meow, meow, disappeared for, hours and hours. We were worried we were going to lose him, right? So we made a special effort to be, to break through and go, no, you still loved. You got family here. We love you. And he warmed to it, and became, an affectionate cat in his own weird way, right? He doesn't like to be picked up or sit in your lap for very long, but he insists upon his pats and being lifted up to his food dish, which is on top of the dryer, right, when he comes in. The reason why it's on top of the dryer, I know that sounds mean for like a 3-legged cat, but the reason why is because otherwise the dog would eat it, right? So it's still up there, and cats like routine, so, now we just lift him up to his food. Yeah, a grizzled veteran of the lawnmower war, says Delian. Yes, he's that guy. You bet. He's my grumpy old man war vet. He's pretty cool. Right. Anyway, so there were some stray cats around, and he started bringing them to the house. And I watched him actively convince them to come at least to the door and then come in. And one of them came in and the other one did not, right? They were 2 very similar looking cats. They're gray with like white, like a stripe down their nose, and then like a white belly and legs, but the top of them is gray. And one of them's kind of smoke gray and one of them's charcoal gray. Right, so we started calling them Smoke and Ash, right, and we were trying to convince them to come in, and we were patient with them. They'd come back at night. We'd leave the door open, even though normally we try to keep Scooter in at night and try to convince them to come in and feed them and bring the food closer into the house and, all that kind of stuff. And the smaller one, the smoke gray one, right, adapted to that really quickly and was willing to come in and even allow us to pat her and, all that sort of thing, right? But the ash gray one did not, right? And she still will only come to the door, right? And only come in if she thinks we're not looking at her, right? So, so I guess we heard that some of the local kids had been playing with kittens in the barn, right? There's a live like on the edge of a farm, right? And there's an old barn, right? And they, I guess there were kittens living in the barn and a stray, right? And so we finally figured out that probably what it was is that Ash is the mom who didn't play with the kids, so wasn't, attenuated to humans, right? But Smokey, right, was used to being played with because she knew how to play and she knew how to use a litter box and she knew, like you'd think, was she abandoned? Was she actually related to this other cat at all? But that's what we finally, I think that's our theory. That's our running theory. Anyway, so Smoke has now moved in, right? And uh, I I figure that she was like Ash's last kitten, probably the runt, because she's a really tiny little thing. Like I can fit. Okay, I'm 5 feet tall. I have these little tiny hands, and I like her head is smaller than my mouse. I can fit my hand around her head. She's just this little tiny cat, right? But I figured out she decided to move in when, I let her sleep on my bed a couple times, and then I came into my bed, but I didn't move her, right? And then she was like rubbing on me and in my lap and on my face, and she did that of her own accord. So I'm like, okay, you live here now. So now she shows up and expects to be fed and sleeps here at night, and we have a cat. Another cat, which is good because Scooter needs the company, and they've been hanging out together, and now he has a friend that he can explore the yard with. And we've been thinking for a long time about trying to get him somebody, right? My dog's been gone nearly 2 years now, right? And we got him a dog within a couple of months, but the dog was not friendly to cats and actually tried to hurt him, so we had to bring him back to the rescue. And we thought about getting a dog, but they got harder to get, right? The right one didn't show up, right? And then this COVID thing happened, and there's no dogs or cats anywhere, which is awesome because that means that they're getting adopted, and that's cool. But so now we have a new cat. Anyway, I've been meaning to tell that on the stream for a while because I'm very excited, and if she comes in, I will show her to you, but probably she won't because she's usually out this time of day. Right. I'll show you Scooter too, my grizzled old war veteran looking after this, young punk kid. Right. It's cool. They're cool. They're fun. So, okay, I'm gonna take my break now. I'm gonna go get something to actually hydrate. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bring a glass of water back in here and I'll drink it, and that way you guys can see that I'm doing what I'm told. Okay. But first a bio break. Back in a minute. Just a quick sec, I wanted to show you. This is my grizzled old veteran of the lawnmower wars here. This is Scooter. As you can see, he's kind of impatient with being held, right? So, yeah. Okay, I'll put him down and I'll be right back. I lied because Smokey came in right behind him. That's Smokey. Is she pretty? Yeah. Okay, down you go. Oh, I see my music died while I was gone. Oops. Walking Dead Lover says, he's such a cute little fur baby, or little bean fur baby. And then, ah, she's precious. I want to pet the fur babies. Yeah, they're good fur babies. They're cute. Smokey is now laid out on my bed. So, yeah, Dillian says, good cat. Yes, yes, they are. They're very good kitties. Alright, I'm gonna... Yeah, there we go. Back to the music. Sorry about the break, guys. Cat stuff. I was trying to see if Scooter wanted to come in here where Smokey is, or if he was like, nah, I'm wandering. So DM Stretch says, hey, only just tuned in and wondered why I was just getting a welcome screen. Because I was on a break and my music shut off while I was on a break because I reached the end of the collection that I was playing. Sorry about that. But welcome. Glad to see you. We're doing writing sprints, answering writing questions. I'm doing stuff on World Anvil Summer Camp and Camp NaNoWriMo. Okay, so for those of you who redeemed your hydrate checks, and thank you, I appreciate it because it's hot out today. And DM says, timing, eh? Laughing my ass off. Yeah. It's my kind of luck. Thank you for the follow. Right on. Much appreciated. Alright, see, and now I'm good because I even got myself a can of something that is actually not like coffee to keep hydrating with. Nicole said that was terrible timing when I'm drinking a carbonated beverage, but says you said ass. Yes, this is a mature marked channel, and I mark it that way because I swear. I'm Canadian, and when I am being casual and relaxed, I swear. It's when the Canadians stop swearing, you should be worried. Lorraine says, oh no, I miss Sable returning. Nah, you did miss the cats though. I just got back, but I had cats in the meantime they came in, so I showed them. Hey, welcome! Time Pool came in with a raid. Thanks for raiding me. I appreciate that. How are you today? How's everyone from Time Pool stream? Oh, hi, Kahuna. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining me. Yeah, I just got back from my first break, so, you know, your timing is excellent. You missed the kitties, though. I showed the kitties. Cranking out articles, says Kahuna. Good for you. I'm trying to do that, but actually I'm doing pretty well. I'm behind today. Yeah, recap briefly, I guess I'll do here. Right? This is where I am on my challenge. Right? I have 4 articles done. I'm working on the 5th. Today I have to catch up. Goes, oh, Akimoto's is here. Hello, thank you for joining. Kahuna says, no, I missed the cats. Yeah, the cats were cool. Yeah. Okay, Lorraine says, I know I missed you commentating on my breakdown of dragon slaying articles. Yes, I did, actually, and thank you for reminding me. I gotta go back and look at that, because you said something about that, so I will check that out. Kahuna says, better than me, I'm working on number 3. And Nicole says, I haven't done any yet. Well, we're here to get it done, right? Akimoto says, I've done 5 now. Excellent, good for you. So you're ahead of pretty much everybody else here, except for, oh, who was it? Which one of you guys who was in the chat got their copper badge yesterday? Was it Dillian? Okay. Nicole says, this is true. Watch me crank them all out today. Yeah, I'm definitely catching up. Like I was saying, that my character article took me quite a while because he was important and he needed the time. I didn't want to leave it unfinished, so it ended up like a 2,000-word article. It took me 3 days. So Lorraine says I'm a number 8. And Dillian says I'm working on 10, but not done yet. Okay, all right. So it was you I was thinking of. So, okay. All right. So yeah, this is where I'm at. I have done 4. And on Camp Nano, I have done my total isn't there. Just a second. Because I was looking at my writing group. They used to call those cabins, then they revamped the site. Now it's writing groups. Okay. Right. I've done 6846. 6,846 words. So. DM says, I've been doing all sorts of random stuff, so I very much doubt I'll even make copper. Although I'm just here to write what I can and have fun. But you never know. I may get the copper. I have 2 articles in. You know what? Everybody handles this in their own way, right? Use it for whatever purpose you want to use it for. That's why I'm having fun. Like, this is my first summer camp. I didn't know what to expect. And I've been doing things like, you know, take it as it comes, right? So, but I'm having a great time with it, and it works very well with my self-directed goal for Camp Nano. I know I'm going to make my word count. I was originally intending to do them both and separately. I was going to try to do 20,000 words of noveling, but that is not going to happen. I now realize I bit off way more than I can chew, right? So I'm just going to have to make August my noveling month, so... Lorraine says, yeah, my character article was the largest of my entries so far. Haha, I can relate. But I went with rank leader, had item, and did myth with said item, and owned building, and what it's for now. That's cool. A lot of people are trying to connect their, all the challenges together to a coherent story, and I wish I'd thought of that when I started, because I'd have planned better, but now I know what to expect, and next year we're going to do it. Jamie Buckley is talking about trying to find a way to organize a challenge that's specifically for doing that, right? Putting it all together and making it a cohesive whole. And if you do, then you get to submit that for a different prize. Now, I don't know if that's going to end up being an official World Anvil thing. I didn't hear any bites from Janet or Dimitri on that one, right? But it might be an unofficial prize thing that the Inner Sanctum might put on, right? So, because I thought that was a great idea, and next year I'm freaking doing it. So, let's see. Nicole says, I've been here since before the first summer camp. The first one I crushed, but last year I was too busy to complete. Life happens, you know, we get older and, you know, we have more responsibilities and, yeah. Nicole says, I'm out here looking to redeem myself. Excellent. All right, we're going to do it. Akimoto says, I got lost in character writing. Is this everybody? It's not just me. Good to know. Kahuna says, the over-the-top challenge. Yes, that's a good name for it, actually. I kind of like it, because that's insane, right? Lorraine says, I admit linking articles together makes things easier for spewing out at least 300 words when I can repurpose the contents based on what the focus is. You know, that's interesting, because I would find that more complicated. But, you know, cool for you that, you know... But yeah, I guess I never thought you could copy-paste whole sections, couldn't ya? Good thinking. Akimoto says, I got lost doing this... Fuck, I have glasses. Okay, there. I got lost doing the Siphon species as well, cats, as is suddenly found myself writing Bastet pyramids and more. Cool. DM says, I saw a great t-shirt advert come up on my Facebook earlier. It said, I'm not procrastinating, I'm just doing side quests. I love that. That is amazing. I need that t-shirt. I'm gonna have to look for that now. Okay, I'm gonna go back and try to find the thing where Lorraine said something about, in response to, is dragon slaying a profession? Or something like that. Oh wow, I missed a bunch of stuff. How did I miss all this? Okay, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, AJX Auditory says, I work for a couple more hours, just wanted to stop by and show some love. And X is a spacer. Okay, AJ Auditory. Gotcha. I will remember that. So far I've been pretty good at remembering this stuff, so let's hope I keep that up. Okay, Lorraine says, 249 words in the sprint. Good job. 3 stub articles had to be started, and yeah, me too. And now I'm trying to figure how a religious order of people who hunt dragons stay in some kind of power in an era where dragons are almost unheard of because the order presumably killed them all. Well, maybe people believe in dragons a little more, right? I mean, like, it's a fantasy, medieval type high fantasy world, right? So in that case, I'd imagine that news travels by word of mouth, right? It's not like they have mass media or the internet. You can get some really interesting mass hysteria stuff going on when your news is spread by passing word through the town, right? Um, I'll give you a case in point, right? A few years ago, you guys may have heard of all the big fires that were in Kelowna. Kelowna is like half an hour south of me, right? So this whole area was really affected. Like, it was the first major year that like half the province seemed to be on fire, right? So I went to the Society for Creative Anachronism event that happens every year called Clinton War, right? And it takes place in Clinton, BC, right? And like, as we were leaving, now remember, we're all like staying off our screens, there's, cell phones are just starting to be a thing, right? And like a thing that everybody has, right? And we're all off our screens, and the radios are off because we're trying to maintain a medieval atmosphere, right? Okay, so and it's not like a Ren Fair where somebody will play Heather Alexander in the background, right? No, we turn it all off, right? So somebody was walking around spreading the rumor that there were fires on every highway out of town, and we were stuck, right? And we would just have to wait until the fires died down as the event was closing up, right? And I went, yeah, no, there's no fucking way. So I went down to town, found the payphone, looked up the forestry service, phoned them, and asked if this was true. And what had happened was that the main highway between where I was and where I had to go, right, was closed because there was a fire in Falkland and it had crossed the highway, right? So I would have to go 45 minutes out of my way to go to Salmon Arm before I could go home, right? But and there was a fire up in Barrier, but that was considerably more north of where we were, right? So and none of the highways in Kelowna were closed, right? So, but that rumor really got some traction because there was nothing, no official source, no media, no radio, no internet to contradict it, right? So, so I went back and told the people who tended to be in charge of the event that this is what had happened. And they said, okay, we'll spread the word. Thank you very much for looking into that, because people were, already starting to plan to stay, and, some panic was arising. So that's how a medieval village functions. And if they hear that there's a dragon in the other village and there's nobody to tell them otherwise, right? So probably they have propaganda ministers in your order. All right, back down to where it was. Kahuna says, there is one dragon that is still feared and the group uses that to keep control. Also a good point. Smog, or Smog as they insisted upon calling him in the modern time, because I guess the idea of naming the dragon for pollution didn't sit right with them for some reason, even though I suspect that's exactly what Tolkien intended. But anyway, okay, right, clearly he was enough to keep people, concerned and alter behavior on a mass scale. So okay, DM says, my world has a slight problem with religious leaders prompt. Religion has waned off a lot, and a few hundred years ago, all the major religious leaders got deposed and some killed because they became too powerful and corrupt. I'm going to continue reading the chat, but I do have some ideas about that. Maybe other people came up with it. That's why I'm going to continue reading, but if they didn't, I'll mention it. And that was pretty close to what I was thinking. Oh, thank you, posture check. Remind me to put my glasses on. Okay. Akimoto says, DM, maybe a very secret order that's in hiding. Yeah, right. DM says maybe, or do a timeline flashback. Yeah, why not? There's no reason why you can't write about the history, right? Walking Dead Lover says to DM, write about one of them. It doesn't have to be a present or current leader. Walking Dead Lover says it would make a good legend too, right? Yeah, good thinking. DM says might do that. My idea was a cult leader, right? you know, like somebody who, I mean, there's always these little cult groups, and if you did that, you could use your cult as a counterculture too, right? Since the rest of the world is atheist, right? So, you know, countercultures are not generally what you think, right? They're not groups that are necessarily opposed to the existing culture. They just don't agree on significant points, right? So neo-pagans are a counterculture in our current Christian oriented North American society, right? So, okay, Lorraine says, or maybe the religious leader was someone who drew attention to the corruption of the other leaders by not being corrupt. That happens. It's one of those things that history is written by the victor, right? I mean, if you look at it from a certain perspective, like Jesus was a cult leader, right? Who basically said, yeah, the whole Jewish religion structure is corrupt, right? And, you know, it's amazing how things get flipped on their head, right? Depending on who's writing about it, right? We remember Joan of Arc fondly, right? Generally in history, but to the English, she was a dangerous radical who was kind of insane, who received possibly mad visions that clearly were directed by some power that was not the god they worshipped, right? So it's really about perspective, right? DM says, I also have the Ice Queen of Njardval, long dead, so long in the past, she's forgotten about, but there's a cult wanting to summon her back using an arcane ritual. Would that count? Probably not her, because she's sort of a semi-deity figure, but the person who's spearheading that effort, definitely, right? Walking Dead Lover says they'll be right back. Okay, that's cool. Lorraine says, actually, the dragon slaying breakdown was... Oh, okay. I'm sorry I missed it. I really did look for it. Okay, the methods of dragon slaying is a tradition. Okay, yep, that makes sense. Okay, the members of the order have order member as the profession. Sure, okay. Yeah, the technique of making things from the remains of dragons is a technology. I do that in a D&D world that I may write about sometime. So that's cool, right? And the tools of dragon slaying are items. Brilliant. That's really clever, actually. Way to tie it all together. I may do that for my Dragon Knight order in the... It's a homebrew D&D world that I do, right? And I've, you know, it's gonna end up probably being my third World Anvil world if I don't do a magazine, right? But it's not what I'm focused on right now, but they have Dragon Knights, but they ride dragons too, so it's like, you know, it was one of those, when I was younger, I had this way OP D&D world, and I mean, it was fine because the bad guys were all OP too, but, you know, crazy stuff, but it was fun. Okay. Oh, and posture check. Thank you, Q. Oh. Walking Dead Lover is back. Excellent. DM says, thank you for that. I'll go for the leader of the cult doing the ritual. Excellent. That's really cool. This person, you know, if you're also using your cult for a counterculture, right, then one, you know, has to ask, well, what's their motivations, right? Why are they opposed to, like, why do they feel the need to do this? What are they not getting out of the overculture that they feel this, you know, summoning the queen back, right, will fulfill, right? And then that kind of gives you some character background, right? Because you'll come up with ideas about, well, okay, why aren't they happy with the world, right? So, Lorraine votes for magazine. Yeah, it's a project I'm thinking of doing with one of my many World Anvil world slots that I'm lucky enough to get as Inner Sanctum, and basically I'm thinking of a professional sci-fi fantasy magazine, right, where I'm going to you know, set up like a Patreon and a Kickstarter and sell subscriptions and, you know, that kind of thing. And pay people professional rate for their writing. That's my goal. So, but, you know, and I've decided I'm doing it, but the question is, how long is it going to take me to roll it out, right? So, there you go. You heard it here first. All right. I'm going to get back to work. What about you guys? We ready to do some more sprinting? And how long do we want to sprint for? Because I'm enjoying getting some writing done today. I'm like, uh-oh. Did I actually drain my phone of power? Oh, okay, no, it just rebooted for some random reason. I hate it when it does that. I never reboot my phone. I'm terrible. Okay, I gotta turn my phone off. Sorry, guys. Take a minute to reboot. Because I kind of had a brain fart and lost all my apps. DM says, well, I have the idea for an article now. Smile. Yep, excellent. Secondhand Samurai says to Q, throws Eula's around. Okay, so that's an in-joke I haven't heard. But that's okay. No problem. Oh. Lorraine says, I also have my order running around hunting abominations, undead who have been brought back by necromancy, vampires, wares, certain actually natural but not civilization-friendly beings. Well, there you go. That's how they maintain their use, right? They're like, well, there's not a lot of dragons around anymore, but we're still protecting people against the bad nasties out there, so you still want to keep us around, right? Yeah. Oh, Dillian says, Q published an article about end-user license agreements. Useful. Okay. Right? Useful. Thank you. Okay. Feel free to drop the link in the chat because I want to see that. I like to know information about that. So, cool. Are you finally freaking rebooted? No, you're slow. Why are you not doing it? I might have to actually just look at the clock. Okay, no, it worked. Yay. Alright. Very fun article, he says. Oh, he published it for Megacorpolis? It's like end-user license agreements in Megacorpolis? Cool. Walking Dead Lover. I keep confusing True Undead Hero and Walking Dead Lover. I know who you are. I'm sorry, my brain. Right, says your phone's probably updating. Cool. It finished, so awesome. Thanks. Secondhand Samurai says it's a satire article, not a help one. Yes, it is Megacorpolis. Awesome. Okay, definitely check that out, guys, because Megacorpolis is cool. I think Megacorpolis is hilarious. It's like cyberpunk gone completely batshit insane. It's like cyberpunk gone to the level of absurdity that would make Douglas Adams like go, okay, you know. Kahuna says, oh wait, no. Sorry. Lorraine says, doesn't the nano site have a timer? Yeah, I think it does. I just don't like it. Secondhand Samurai says, didn't mean to link bomb. No, that's fine. I allow links in the chat, right? And that is why I do, right? So that people who have links to share that are relevant to the conversation can do that. It's especially intended because I have a lot of writers and World Anvil people. Like, that's who the show's for. So, you know. No, that's great. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm definitely going to check it out. I love Megacorpolis. I'm a fan. Kahuna says, I think I need an article on properly sorting and organizing images. It's getting difficult to find the ones I want, both on World Anvil and on my laptop. I know. I recently changed laptops, right? And it took like half an hour to copy all of my download folder, which is mostly pictures, to my USB drive so that I could copy it back to my other laptop. And yeah. In World Anvil, I'm actually better at it because what I do is I make categories of galleries, right? And I put the articles in the galleries, right? And I call the galleries things like characters, right? And I go, okay, characters. All right, so it's a character, so it'll be there, right? Or, book covers, or, plants, right? Cooking, and then I know where to find it, right? But, I'm going to have to start to do like subcategories of that too, because it no longer shows all the stuff in a folder. It'll limit it, right? Like I just did a major article reorganization yesterday because my unsorted articles had gotten to a point where I was like, I'm not even seeing all these anymore. So Walking Dead Lover says, you can just call me TWD Lover. It might be easier. No, I like Walking Dead Lover. I think that's fun, right? I mean, clearly you're a fan of the show, and that's great. And, TWD kind of trips over the tongue. I have a lisp, so I would find that hard. But, okay, Nicole, but thank you, though. Yeah, Nicole says, Crash Course, Google Drive, folder named Writing. Folder named after the current project. Drop images below. Yes, but I fill up my Google Drive because I use my Google Drive for things like I have a Patreon package where like I moonlight as a musician. I do a lot of folk music, and I have some heavy mithril that I did like 20 years ago, and which is heavy fantasy heavy metal, by the way, right? And stuff like that, right? And I give out music packages at a certain level of my Patreon where you get like the albums on MP3, right? So I've got a lot of that kind of stuff in my Google. My Google's constantly telling me, you're running out of room on your Google Drive, you need to delete shit, right? So that's not going to work for me, right? My Dropbox, same thing. I'm going to have to spend money at some point, right? I have like 14 different copies of the same book because I don't want to throw out the other edits until I've got the product I'm happy with, in case I've cut something that I need, right? Yeah, I'm insane. But it's a good idea, and if you aren't as insane as me, then that's brilliant and would work really well. Nicole says, optional renaming file images to basic descriptions. Done that too, right? Kahuna says, my Google Drive gave up syncing due to the number of files. See, so we're in the same boat. DM says, just looking at the prompts now, and number 14. Oh, did they release the second batch? I didn't know that. Hold on, when did they do that? Did they just do that while I was streaming? Because I want to see. We should look. Well, that'll be on my progress page, won't it? I didn't even scroll down and look. I don't see them. Do I have to finish these ones before I get the next ones? Okay, but anyway, just looking at the prompts now, and number 14 is write about an influential woman in your world. Well, the Ice Queen certainly fits that one. Then the leader of the cult fits the religious leader. The cult is my counterculture, all coming together now. Excellent. That's great. Yeah, actually, I could do that easily for either one of my worlds too, right? I would probably write about Marie Winters, courtesan, for the Weird West, and I would write about so many to choose from. Toy Soldier, Queen Elastriana, Captain Wintermist, Tyolite Vesper. I don't know. Yeah, there's a few. Narissa Elkhorn, right? So yeah. Nicole says, oof, multiple Google Drives, email. Yeah. Lorraine says, wait, the next 10 prompts were dropped? DM says, yeah, 9:30 this morning UK time. Lorraine says, oh, Influential Women is from Summer Camp 2019. DM says, oh. Nicole says, create a private reference, Twitter, obviously. Yeah, it's probably not a bad idea either. DM says, might be looking at the wrong one. Yeah, I was looking at 2019. And then, shout out to let me know that he had. Okay. Fair enough. No, I understand. You type in Summer Camp World Anvil on Google and you get the 2019 one because the algorithms haven't caught up yet, right? So I did that too at one point. So not just you, right? Nicole says they don't drop until the 10th. I didn't think they did because I'm like, I want to get this done before the next one's drop. Otherwise, I'm just gonna go right? Because I get too many choices and my brain just goes tilt, you know. I can't I can either organize the dishes or I can wash the dishes. I can't do both because my brain just goes, I can't deal with it, you know. Yeah. And then Nicole was like, whoa, and Lorraine was just letting Nicole know that I'm catching up in chat. Secondhand Samurai says, chat, don't give me a heart attack. I thought we had a release due to a bug. Yeah, that would be like directly something that you would have to deal with. Yeah, sorry to freak you out. No, it's cool. Good. Wait until the 10th. All right. Nicole says, hey, I had nothing to do with this. Lorraine says, I almost had one as well, secondhand. Yeah, no doubt, right? Walking Dead lovers are screaming the things I feel. I haven't finished the first 10. Don't give heart attacks like that. Yeah, it happens. It happens. Lorraine says the old prompts are still handy, though. I agree, they are still handy. And I appreciate the fact that they're still up there, because if you're looking for what are important things that I probably should be mentioning in the course of my writing, right, for my world, those are important things. They wouldn't have appeared on prompts if they weren't significant things that you should probably include. So, you know, good way to get ideas. Walking Dead Lover says, brain would rage quit. DM's like, sorry, my bad. And, you know, Secondhand Samurai is like, oh, we love you, it's okay. So, yeah, it's good. It's all good. Well, that was a bit of an adventure, wasn't it? I had a heart attack too. I was like, what? Oh, why are it? Okay, but no, it's fine. It's good. Looking forward to the 10th. So what? It's the 8th now. It's Wednesday. So the 10th is Friday. Okay, so by Saturday, the Saturday stream, which is Sable's World Forge, same time as this one, 1 to 4 p.m., 1 to 4 p.m. Pacific, right? We will have the next series of prompts, so we'll probably go over those before we start the community feedback stream, which is what the community challenge was that I put up and people voted for. So since we're talking about that right now, I might as well let you know how the rules for that are going to work, which is basically first come, first serve. The community all contributed so that we can have this feedback episode, right? I will give my feedback, such as it is. I'm not a good feedback person for designing, right? I'm good for, oh, I like that idea, or, oh, that looks cool, but, you know, you want design feedback, it's the Ethnos team that you got to talk to, not me, right? But I can give feedback about, you know, the writing, the idea, you know, whether it makes me curious about your world, you know, what I think it needs, right? I can do that, right? So I'll do that. And the chat can also contribute, right? Don't worry, it's not grilling, right? We're not gonna like take you apart, right? I always make sure to, if I have a critique, I always make sure I give a compliment for whatever is really working as well, right? There's always things that are, right? And, you know, I might have following a bunch of your worlds because I do that, right? And we'll have fun. Oh, thank you, hydrate, good idea. Right, so we'll have a lot of fun with that. Right, you can make your comments, right? First come, first served. I said that before, but except that the usual rules with how Twitch works will work, which is to say, you highlight your message, you'll get priority, right? If you're a subscriber to my channel, you'll get priority, and if you're one of my patrons, you'll get priority. Right, so now, oh yes, and maximum 2,000 words. Right? And it's not just summer camp I'll look at. If you are a writer who is not doing World Anvil, right, and you're doing Camp Nano, I will happily look at your 2,000 words of whatever you're writing to. You can submit novels. I'm fine with that. I need a link that you can post in the chat that we can go to and look at, right? So don't like send me your document file, right? Put it on Google Documents or something and send me that, right? So that we can look at it online, right? And yeah, we'll look it up to 2,000 words, and I'll give you my feedback. If you want to send me your novel, I'll give you my feedback on the first 2,000 words of the novel. I don't care, right? Whatever, it's fine. So Delian says, greeting from the 9th, by the way. It's quite dark and rainy in the future. Time traveler Delian. Also, why are you still awake? I was wondering that myself. Isn't it rather late for you? Walking Dead Lover says, oh joy, rain and darkness. That's perfect for my writing theme. Lorraine says, rain and darkness sounds like my home. Nicole says, oh, speaking of following, let me just check out your world really quick. Then Lorraine let Nicole know that I have them know. I don't know whether Nicole is a male or female name. Doesn't matter, right? Says that I have 2 worlds, Toy Soldier Saga and World West, or Weird West, yes. I can put links in the chat if you would like. Okay, that's probably more like it. It's what Nicole said. Q says, I was distracted by Necrons. When are we submitting them? That is my Saturday stream, right? That will be 1 to 4 p.m. Pacific time on Saturday, so it might even be like early Sunday morning or something for you. But yeah, and it's just put the link in the chat and we'll look at it, right? In the order that it appears, basically. Oh, and thank you for posting the link to my world in the chat there, Lorraine. Much appreciated. Nicole says, is there an command? Yeah. Yeah. Delian says, only nearly 1 a.m. Perfect Twitch viewing time. Well, good. I'm glad that it works out then. Excellent. Great. I'm usually watching Twitch at 1 a.m. too. Okay. Nicole says, I identify as a nuisance. Awesome. Okay. That's absolutely fine. Q says, Sable Saturday. I may or may not be asleep. I understand. It's really okay. If you don't make it, you don't make it. And then DM asked Q if he plays 40K. Says sort of Dark Heresy, computer games. Ah, cool. Okay. I don't have time for computer games in general because I write too much. But what I do is, it doesn't mean I don't like them, right? I used to play Star Wars Old Republic and World of Warcraft, and I check out, like, usually the lore stuff all the time on YouTube, because there's some really kick-ass science fiction and fantasy being written in video games right now. And, people need to pay more attention to that kind of writing. I was really excited when the Nebulas started including game writing in their awards, because it's an important medium and there's a lot of good stuff going on in it, right? So, yeah, so I watch that stuff. Nicole says, seriously, any pronouns are fine. I don't care. Awesome. I feel pretty much the same way about that. I generally identify as she or them, right? And cool. Whatever. Yeah. Lorraine says, Mass Effect has awesome lore. Yes, it does. It freaking does. It also has an amazing soundtrack, which I often put on to write Toy Soldier. So, yeah. BioWare pre-EA has been awesome with lore building. Yes, they really have. Yes, they really have. I agree. Good stuff. Amazing work. Okay. I find that the hydration has made me need to take another bio break. So I'm going to do that briefly. It won't be as long as the last one. Hopefully only a couple minutes. And then we will get to the next sprint. All right? Okay. See you in a minute. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. Figures as usual roll over my cord and my headphones here. All right. Well, you guys have been chatty. Okay. Lorraine added as I was running off, BioWare EA lore building is mildly lacking in comparison, though. Yes, I agree with you. Unfortunately. Yeah. DM says, cool, fridge raid for me then. Cool, I hope you're back. Akimoto says, just did. Fridge is cool with that. That's a good pun, actually. I like that. Nicole says, I never could get into ME, Mass Effect. I played DAI a lot, so just getting into the different mechanics confused the literal shit out of me. You know what? Like I said, I haven't played either, so I don't know anything about the mechanics. I just watch the lore, because it's a good story. Plus, it really helps sometimes to get a visual, right, for things that you're picturing in your own crazy science fiction fantasy, right? Like, I did all kinds of book trailers, like, and they were intended as inspiration for my Toy Soldier and Weird West novels mostly. The Weird West ones were also intended to sell the book, so it's, they use, like, graphics I can use, right? But I made them mostly machinima compositions out of different video games because that helped me to visualize what stuff looked like in my mind. So, yeah. Nicole adds, the only way I make progress in Mass Effect is if my friend does all the fighting for me. That's the other thing. I'm not that good at some of that stuff, right? First person shooters, forget it. I'm fucking hopeless. It's not even worth my energy to try, right? I'm just so bad. So, you know, in World of Warcraft and stuff like that too, right? I don't like grinding. I really have better things to do with my time. I think it is so boring. I cannot be bloody bothered. I like, you know, getting together with friends on a designated game night, right? And then we go do some quests, and then we go do a raid or two, right? And that's fun because it's a social activity. You're doing it with your friends, right? You know, there's story, right? Sitting there and killing a bunch of random monsters, right? For no reason other than to get shit that you then have to go back, right? And repeatedly hit buttons in order to process, which is even more boring, right? Nah, I don't have time for it. So I only got to a certain point because, like, you know, because after that you have to grind if you want to be, you know, get stuff that's worth having at the higher levels, or you have to pay, right? And I didn't want to do either. So, it's all right. And then my friend moved, who was really into the video games anyway, and so we don't really do that anymore. I've thought about doing it again. I had a lot of fun with Old Republic in particular, and had barely touched it, right? And I had a lot of fun playing Worgen Druid in World of Warcraft, so. Right. Oh! Walking Dead Lover says, I am finally finished with the reconstructed building! Yay! Good job! Yeah, Nicole says, congrats. Buildings are hard for me to write. I always get the extreme urge to make blueprints, and it's hard to resist. You too, huh? Mm-hmm. That's why I've been avoiding that one. DM says, yeah, I get the urge to go on Dungeon Fog. I get the urge to get out graph paper because I'm old school. But, yeah. Walking Dead says, I just bullshitted 90% of it. Excellent. I'm sorry that is edited in my chat. I kind of don't care, actually, if people swear in the chat, so as long as they're not insulting each other, I'm perfectly fine with it, so I'll have to check my settings. Bobicus is here! Hello, Bobicus! Nice to see you! Right? Akimoto says, I did research Ellis Island to learn about it and use it as the building prompt. That's neat. That's cool. I like to do that too, take historical buildings. I think my repurposed building prompt, if I go with my pattern of alternating between my worlds, is going to be a Weird West article. And there's 2 of them that I can think of that I've actually included in what I wrote, right? One was the Regina, the Saskatchewan Provincial Legislature, right? And the other one was the hotel, a major hotel in Saskatoon, right? Which both exist in this time, right? So definitely they've been repurposed, right? So I'm kind of looking forward to that, but I know I'm going to disappear down a research rabbit hole because I'll be reading things about building descriptions to make sure I get it right. Nicole says, I love fantasy more than science fiction, so Dragon Age owns my heart. Dragon Age has some cool lore too. So, I have no preference. Science fiction and fantasy, as far as I'm concerned, are two halves of the same coin, and separating them is semantics, right? In my opinion. I mean, you know, but I don't hold a lot of stock with genre labels anyway, and I tend to write in stuff that people would call science fantasy because I use elements both. I don't care, right? I do have at least one hard science fiction book that I'm in the process of writing, largely to prove the point that, screw you to a misogynist who said to me that women can't write science fiction. But I haven't done it yet. I'm kind of held up with the details because the character is a geologist and I'm not. So I need to do some research to understand better what she would know. But Lorraine says, hey, I swear 90% of good writing came from authors BSing the expansion of their summaries. Yes, I think we bullshit for a living. That is what we do, okay? That is what we do. Bobicus says, I remember Mass Effect being fairly forgiving on the shooty bits. Cool, then I may try that one, because I suck. DM says, one thing I find odd is that there's no world building category on Twitch. I think there should be. How are the categories created? I know, right? Bobicus says the campaign creation tag sometimes suffices. I didn't even know there was a campaign creation tag. I will use that for every one of these streams now, probably, as one of my tags. Okay, as far as I know, to answer that question, how the tags are created is that basically there's enough demand for them. Like right now, there's a GitHub petition to get writing added as a category, right? So I imagine there's probably something similar going on with tags to add world building, and I think there should be. I think there should be a tag for world building. But campaign creation might be a good, it communicates the same idea. If you include writing, behind the scenes, and campaign creation, then you've covered it. It's unfortunate you have to include 3 tags for that, though. Nicole says, I love grinding, and having, millions of side quests, I live for it. Well, hey, right? Your mileage may vary. Everybody's got their own preferences. There's nothing wrong with the way you want to play. You play however you want to play and enjoy it, right? That's totally cool. I'm glad you like it. I got lots of friends who like grinding. I just don't. They find it relaxing. They find it, a bit like digital morphine, and all for them. Right? The longer I can avoid the end of a game, the better. Okay, I hear that. There's logic to that. Lorraine says, I hate first person, but prefer having a third person over the shoulder as close to first person setting if I can't get full third person. Yeah, legit. It's easier to drive, isn't it? Right? Lorraine says, Mass Effect is very forgiving and has a bunch of difficulty settings, letting you mow down the combats if you're not in the game for the combats. Okay, so that sounds like a good one I might want to explore playing then. Because I just don't have, I'm not very coordinated with the hand-eye coordination thing, and I don't care, right? So, Walking Dead says, I edited it. I sometimes do that, so don't sound mean. Oh, okay. Thank you. Cool. I'm glad to know that it's not my settings. Right? Babaka says, you don't care if we swear? Heck, no I don't. The reason why this stream is mature is not because I am an edgelord or anything, although I am. I'm a member of the chapter on the Edge, and we call ourselves edgelords at world level, so I am an edgelord. But it's not because I'm an edgelord. It's because I swear, right? And I don't want to have to mind my mouth. So that's why. Lorraine says, my building prompt is a hunting lodge of a war priest turned year-round residence of his descendants. That's very sensible. I like that. That makes a lot of sense. Nicole says, oh, spite rating. I love it. Yes, spite rating. Yes, it is spite rating. I'm like, oh yeah, you think so? Challenge accepted, you bastard. All right. Yeah, okay. Spriting, says Babacus. Spriting, yes. That agrees with Cole, and then, oh, they jinxed it. Cool. Somebody owes somebody a drink. Spite is a powerful motivation, says Lorraine. Yes, it is. Yep. I haven't given up on it. I'm willing to teach myself geology in order to do it because, see, motivation, right? Glasses. Nicole says, Spite is how I've gotten commissions and became part of a collab comic project. You're part of a collab comic project. That is really cool. Neat. My friend can't stand grinding or slow stories, so she fights in Mass Effect for me while I grind in Dragon Age for her. It's perfect. Cool. Kahuna says, up to 3 of 3, slow but steady. Yeah, he's working while we're yapping, right? Good for him. Okay, good for you, Kahuna, that's great. Bobica says, I'm working on a magic system, and it's developed to the point it's time to start building the world of Sin. There you go. Excellent. Way to go on the smart approach of doing the magic system first, because then you will be able to anticipate what kind of changes to your world would result from the magic system and won't have to retrofit anything. That's clever. Bobica says, I'm thinking steampunk, but they've invented plastics, microfluidics, and a bit of nanotech. Still steampunk, man. You know, it just depends on how you explain it, right? If they accomplish it with, like, you know, the infusion of ether, you know. McCall, writing. Let me just put on some tunes of my own and zone out for a bit. Fair enough. Yep, if you guys want to put on tunes of your own, that's great. I have a loud alarm, right? It's pleasant, but it's loud. So I really don't mind. I don't talk when we're doing sprints. I try not to. I don't want to interrupt people. So, you know, you're not going to miss anything. Just, you know, the alarm will tell you. Or you can put on your own timer, right? What time are we at? We're at 3 o'clock. 5 after 3 by my... So I have about an hour left of the stream. How long of a sprint would you guys like to do? I'm thinking either 20 minutes or half an hour. What do you figure? Oh, and don't forget, by the way, in these streams especially, if you have questions about writing or, you know, your process or, you know, whatever, right, feel free to ask them. I am a published author in a couple of different fields, right? I've done some short fiction for magazines, pro-market magazines, right? I've done, I've been traditionally published with a medium-sized publisher, and I've done a lot of indie work, right? So, not like some people are insane. They can churn out a novel a month. I can't do that. But, you know, I might have some help and advice. This is my 10th year doing nano. I'm going to be finally my municipal liaison this year. I've been an assistant municipal liaison for a couple years. You know, I might have some stuff to offer. And so might the chat. There's a lot of really knowledgeable and smart people who I deeply respect who are in this chat, and I'm sure they have cool things to say about writing or world building as well. Kahuna has a lot of cool stuff to say. You should check out his stream. Right? Dillian's really awesome too, and Q is the world's best cheerleader. He's amazing. So, all right. Walking Dead says 30 is good. Gives me time to work on my myth. DM says, well, I need at least 5 to 10 minutes to get past the stage of ugh. Oh, me too, generally. Yep. 15 minutes sprints are actually like 10 minute sprints for me. So, yeah. Kahuna says, oh, thanks. Well, you're cool. I watched your stream, man. You're amazing. You're fun. You have lots of interesting stuff to say. You've got good advice. You know, you're fun to hang out with. It's awesome. Lorraine says, 15 works for me. Damn it. Q is a living sun. Fight me. Will you forgive us if we go for half an hour, Lorraine? I'd like to give a real... Or do we want to compromise and do 20? Maybe we could do that. 20 or 25, something like that. Nicole's like, 30! Yeah, that's cool. I want to get some writing done today, too. Lorraine, 20, 25, 30. I don't have a strong preference. Okay, so we're going to do 30 minutes. That's what we're going to do. So, back to my main screen. All right, and 30 minutes. Lorraine says, I just tend to stall out for minutes at a time with longer ones personally. So do I, but actually here, I'll show you. This gives me an opportunity to do some things, right? When I'm stalling out, what I do is something like add especially when I'm working at World Anvil, right? I add pictures or quotes, right? So I think I put my pictures on the downloads directory of my laptop, which means I can't access the ones. I downloaded some pictures for this last night, right? But I won't be able to access them here. But what I can do is access my writing from the original books that this comes from, right? This article in particular refers to the story called The Vigil, right? So probably not seeing any of this right now, and that's fine because it's not important, but there's The Vigil, right? And so when I'm stalling out, let's see what you're looking at here. You're still looking at that. Okay, that's fine. I will capture my Word file. Where's my view? For some reason, it keeps shutting down my navigation page. Okay. All right. So, capture. Go back to Word. I won't keep capturing it, though, because you can't, it'll keep blinking on and off, I've learned. Because my capture function doesn't work that well for Word. So, in the future, those of you who have been working with me while I've been sprinting in Word, I'm probably going to switch over to the manuscripts function at World Anvil, because I know it won't do that, right? But what I'm going to do when I stall out is I'm going to go through here and find the quotes that are suited to, I'm writing about a condition caused by a drug, right, or a medicine. And so I'm going to look through here for those references for things like what's in it, how it's composed, what the effects are. All right. Nicole says 5. 75? Okay. 75 minutes? You just want to write all day. That's fair enough. Okay, DM says, I entered an article straight from an existing one I had written, rather than via prompts. It's gone under myth instead of artifact. Anyone know if I can change this at all? Well, shit. No, I don't know. There's got to be a way to handle it. Are you on the Discord? Okay, yes you are. Alright, I would go into the help directory or the challenge discussion directory. Oh, never mind, Lorraine knows the answer. Okay, she says, if you're writing about an artifact, you'd have to use the item template. You can withdraw your myth legend article from the challenge in the community challenge box above metadata on the left side. Anvil Assistant right here. Excellent! Good, thank you, that's great. Thanks for the help, Lorraine. Awesome. Let me see if I can find that for you. I'll capture the other window. I gotta do it anyway. So, go back to this. Right, so this would be... Yeah, DM says, cool, cheers. I'm more just wondering, really, I can always make up another artifact. She says she's not the most helpful Anvil assistant, but she tries. Oh, I better shut this off. I'm gonna get copyright dinged for that. Why do I have ads? Okay. There we go. I should not have ads because I have ad blocker, so All right. So where am I looking for here? Try to help find it because that will be helpful to look for. Okay, challenge in the community challenge box above metadata on the left side. Or are you talking about the right side? Yes, you're talking about, okay, it's the right side of my window. There's the challenge box. So if you need to withdraw, I believe you can do it there. There we go. I hope that was of help because it'll show up with that option. Okay. DM tells Lorraine something I agree with completely, which is, hey, you're awesome, thank you, which she is. She helped me out a lot. Lorraine says, fuck, I'm left-right challenged. You know, if you're dyslexic, that's common. My husband is dyslexic, and he gets left and right wrong all the time. I'm like, okay, driver or passenger side? You know, it's okay. And he's like a genius, so. All right, so now we're going to start our sprint, if that's okay. Everybody ready? And we're on. 30 minutes. Here's my gentle and friendly reminder, which I didn't do, to save your work. We have about 26 minutes. No, I can't add today. We have about 21 minutes. Okay. Alright, that's time. Wow. I'm having a good writing day, guys. That went by like just pow for me. Just like pow. Do you guys think the spirit realm should be a location or a law? Alright, where were we? Lorraine told me, I guess as we went to the sprint, not dyslexic nor dyscalculate, just no sense of left and right. Pretty common. It's cool. Akimoto says, I know so many soldiers who struggle with left versus right in the first weeks of training. It's hilarious. Or the out of phase walking, left leg forward and left arm forward. It looks funny and walks awkward, especially in a platoon. I have problems with that kind of stuff too. Oh, and Story Girl's here. Hello, nice to see you. I hope you're well. I'm doing great. I'm having a great writing day. I feel very good about it. I'm, stuff is pouring out of me and I'm losing track of the stopwatch and I'm, going, oh, is it time already? So that's a good thing. How are you today? Nice for you to join me. I hope your writing's going well. Okay, I'm going to count my stuff for my sprint in the meantime. Looking for my... There we go. I have to do this in bits and pieces because I added things. As you can see, I was looking stuff up over the course of the writing, and that's because I was trying to get a sense of the experience of using mescaline. So, since we are writing about drugs, so. Let's see, and how'd you guys do on your sprints? Oh, right, I was here too. Okay. Sounds like the hubby's back. I probably didn't do as well on this sprint as I did on other ones because I had to look stuff up, but I'm happy with it. Not bad, total of 544 words. Alright, so back to where I was. Lorraine says, Spirit Realm should be a location, but the rules of the realm should be a law. Good thinking. Okay. Walking Dead says 299 words. My myth is coming along great. Excellent. Story Girl says, not bad. Surfacing after about 18 hours away from the computer. Yes, I noticed that you were absent. Right? Of which 12 plus has been asleep. I wondered when that was going to catch up with you. I did that yesterday. I decided, okay, that's it. I'm catching up on sleep, and that is what I'm doing today. And do I have to do anything else? No. Even if I did, I don't care. I'm canceling. So, yeah. So I can't complain about not being well rested. Well, good. I am glad that you finally caught up on some sleep. That's excellent. Lorraine says, Chuckles, I reworked part of my leader's article because it's part of the myth, and then expanded more on that exposition and have 694 words. Well done. Good job. You're in the lead right now, if anybody's competing. Yeah, DM says, not bad, 261 words, and chatting to one of my players in Discord about my upcoming sequel for a campaign that finished a couple weeks back. Cool. Always fun, but you got distracted. No, I don't care. We're here to have fun, right? So I'm not getting on anybody's case. Akimoto says, I wrote about a myth, the Wedjet Eye, and how it obliterates arms? Interesting. Cool. Yeah, Lorraine says, oh nice, on a sequel campaign. DM says, worked on my building project. Excellent, my building prompt. Walking Dead says, but I'm going to keep writing since the momentum is fantastic. Granted, I had to look up words. Yeah, I hear that, and I'm with you. I'm in that place right now. My stuff's coming out, and it's working great, and I'm happy with it. DM says, Lorraine, yeah, 5e game set in Ravnica. Oh, you're okay. Now I know who you are. Cool. Neat. All right. Delian says, I'm at 377 words with my religious figure. Also did a bunch of timeline and family tree stuff. Yeah, I'm totally not doing the timeline. I knew if I did that, started that shit with the family tree and the timeline, then I was never going to get anything done. It can wait until after July. I was like, no, that's it. You're just not. So, because I know better. It's just, that is a black hole for which I will never return. But if you got it done, kudos. Okay. Akimoto says, 534 words. Excellent. That's great. Lorraine says, most of the article was me mentally referencing the other articles that the myth ties to, and then me writing about the leader losing his faith because he literally killed his dragon god. How depressing. That is terrible. I feel terrible for your religious leader. That is awful. I hope there's a happy ending at some point. But, not every end is happy, right? And that's why. And you can't make them all happy either, because if we did that, there would be no tragedy in the world, and there would be no risk, right? And then there's no conflict. Walking Dead says, I also got a sad notification, a bad distraction that happens, about this engaged couple in the UK that can't be together even though the woman is dying from cancer. You know, that shit is far more... Okay. Here's another soapbox. There's a lot of things in different countries where they provide for disabled people, right? But then they figure if your, partner is working, they can take care of you, right? So a lot of people cannot afford to get married, right? Or be together, right? Or their condition is such that there's another thing, right? There's assisted living for disabled people, or, older people who are deteriorating, right? But there's nothing to let their partners live there too, right? And I think that both of these things are ridiculous and horribly unfair, right? And I'm kind of a vocal advocate against both of them. Like, disabled people, they need X amount of money to live. Give them X amount of money to live, right? That's, deal with it, right? And if they, make extra money and you want to, take some of that off of the check that the government's giving them, fine, right? But don't penalize them for having a relationship, right? Or for somebody who, might actually help them out because they love them, right? It's not right. And then, I had a business, and one of the reasons why I don't have it anymore is because we had to go on disability. I was not making enough to support my husband anymore, and it was just impossible to keep up with their paperwork because it was a sole proprietorship. They counted every dime that the store made as a dime that I had made, and basically we were starving to death, so I gave up the business. So, yeah, right? The other thing is that, I would think that it would be an ideal thing to have care homes where you have little suites where a couple can live, right? For one thing, it's safer, as this COVID nonsense has taught us. And the second thing, it's more dignity for people. And the third thing, that partner can actually reduce the need for care aides, right? and provide a better quality of care, because they can do things like help their partner with the bedpan, you know? They just can't do things like lift them around. So, you know, I don't understand why we don't do things that way, and it needs to change. If I ever sell the movie rights, I'm going to fund a project like that where I'm going to start a trust and we're going to do it. Okay, anyway, sad notification. Sorry, I got sidetracked there because it's just a soapbox issue for me. Dillian says, I'm just doing basic timeline stuff to keep track of everything in a master timeline that contains everything. Don't want to mess anything up. Well, that's fair. I get that. I got to start the timeline of everything for my toy soldier world, and I'm kind of having a minor panic attack over the amount of information I'm going to have to put in there. And I got to keep it all straight. I got to get it done because I need it for my book. Okay. Walking Dead says, exactly, my mom is disabled and they keep trying to screw her over. They don't want to give disabled people money, right? So they, you know, especially more conservative government types, right? I'm not naming any particular party because this happens in every country, but the conservative types are always like, well, are you really disabled? Well, are you really, really disabled? Oh, how much money did you make? Oh, did somebody give you a gift? You know, because they don't want to give money to people. It's disgusting. Anyway, Lorraine says, I want to do timeline stuff, but I hate nailing down dates because elves keep throwing off how long ago was. I am having the same problem. When you are talking elves, you kind of have to put a 0 at the end of any time period you think it should be, right? If it should have been 300 years ago, it was probably 3,000 years ago. That's kind of my general rule of thumb. But the problem is, you're right, that screws up other races. I've run into that a few times because my orcs and elves and how they interact, right? So I feel ya, and it's also creating problems for me, and I don't have an easy solution, or I'd have done it already. So we can be miserable together. Maybe we can help each other out. Okay, and Walking Dead says, I donate. That's cool. I hope lots of people would. I think that it's really, we need to have that. Right? I don't know why we don't have it. It doesn't make any bloody sense. They also tell her she needs to get a physical, like she's magically going to be healed in 1 year. Neuropathy doesn't go away. No, it generally doesn't, actually, after a certain point. I happen to know a bit about that because one of the conditions that my husband suffers from is post-ICU neuropathy. And yeah, after about 6 months, if it hasn't gotten better, it probably ain't gonna. After 2 years, it definitely ain't gonna. So if she's had this condition for 2 years, that's it. She's stuck with it, right? And medical experts know that. The government is just being assholes. Sorry, it's true, right? Lorraine says, I wish I could just auto-enter things on timelines while my articles are being made. Like if Banny was born 26 years ago, I'd like for all the timelines to auto-enter that information for me. But wait a minute, can't you, when you're creating an event, like go to a click box and say timelines in which this article appears? Because I did that for most of my history challenge, right? Because the stuff that I was focusing on was a priestess organization that was, you know, and their history. So they had to have their own timeline, right, for the history challenge. But they also, they were very important to the history of the homeworld of the orcs in particular, and the Fomorian Empire, so I had to include it there too. So I clicked a box and added it. Is that not a thing? Like, or does that not address your question? Right? Walking Dead says it's actually gotten worse. She's had it for about 15 years. Well, you're right. It's never getting better then. Yep. Lorraine says, isn't that all on the timeline side? It might be. Just a second. Let me look here. Oh, and I'm going to save my work. Okay, I'm in the Weird West right now, so I need to switch worlds. Just a sec. Okay, so, because I haven't done any timelines for the Weird West yet. Alright, so now I'm in the Toy Soldier. I'll go to timelines and calendars. Am I? No, I'm not even. Okay, you need to see what I'm doing. There we go. Okay, so I go to historical events, right? And we'll say, yeah, some of this is like game timeline stuff. I wish that we could separate, you know, if I want to request, I want to separate these events into directories so that they don't all appear in one big directory like this, because I've got like stuff that are specific to campaigns and stuff that are specific to different worlds, and I would really like to separate them. Okay, anyway. All right, Day of Scythes. This is one of the events that was important to that particular history, right? So, and then timelines, it's this box right here under type, political event, and timelines. You just click on it, and if there's an available timeline, right, it will show it to you, and you just click on there. Once you've created that particular event, right, you just select the different timelines that it appears in, and it appears in all of them, right, whichever ones you select. Was that, I don't know if that answers your difficulty, though, Lorraine. I don't know if that solves your problem. It took me a while to figure that one out, and it solved it for me. So, yeah, I don't know about the timeline side, how you would do that. Probably... I'd have to make the event too, but on the timeline? I don't understand what you mean. I'm sorry. Like, yeah, you have to make the event, right? And then you, like, take it to... Maybe I'll open up a timelines tab too, right? You know, because here's my list of timelines, right? So let's work on my History of the Den Mother timeline, or History of the Sister of the Den Mother, because that's the main one where I created the event for, right? The Day of Scythes is here, right? So then I just, you can also click on it here, right? And go edit the event, right? And then you still get this window, and you can still go here and add it to additional timelines. You don't have to retype it or anything. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to sidestep having to make the event before it can be on the timeline. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? That would be nice if you could just, like, click on the timeline and go, okay, about here, you know, and then put in the year. I mean, I understand why you can't do that, right? Because, it would be difficult to do on a visual menu, and then you'd have to edit data in this thing anyway when you got here, but, you know, but yeah, that would be nice where you could just click on the timeline and go, okay, the event needs to be here. You know, otherwise I can't imagine, like, how else you would do this, but... But yeah, I feel your pain. It is a little cumbersome, isn't it? I don't know how else to do it, though. If I had a better suggestion, then I would make it. But I don't know. Right, like... And it's helpful if you have, like, your date configured in your world, because if you don't, it gets really confusing. So, yeah, I feel ya. I'd like something where I can just click the timeline and, okay, create an event here. That would be handy. Yeah. Well, guys, we're at 3 minutes after 4. Thanks for joining me today. I had a lot of fun, and I feel like I got a lot done, so I'm very happy with this stream, and you guys were all great company. Does anybody have any comments or questions before we go? And in the meantime, I will just lay out the spiel again. On Saturday, I will be... No, not Saturday. I'm an idiot. Sunday. Why did I say Saturday? I said Saturday before. I meant Sunday. Sunday, 1 to 4 p.m., right? That's when I do my Sable's World Forge stream. And it's just because I had to recently, like, I tended to do it when I had time on the weekend, but because of there's a whole bunch of World Anvil streamers, right? I felt that I should probably pick a time and make it easier to not cross stream against people, because people should, like, you know, because it's respectful, right? And I want to watch their streams too. So, yeah, once again, if you're a World Anvil streamer, the calendar is now like being reset on its own world, right? It's in the Summer Camp Streamers channel. You can check that out. So no point in posting in the chat. But okay, so 1 to 4 p.m. Sunday Pacific time, right? I will be doing Sable's World Forge. We will be doing a feedback stream. First come, first serve. Put your links in the chat. Oh, thank you, Kahuna. That's great. Yes, because he's on the writers team for that, right? You can check it out there. It's the entire schedule, but we're going to do it first come, first serve. Just put your links in the chat, whether it's World Anvil or Camp Nano or whatever it is, right? Up to 2,000 words, right? Send me a link to your novel if you want. Do not send me a Word file. Do not do that, because I will not open it, because I will forget where I freaking put it, because I'm terrible at email, right? And I don't want to overload, you know, like some of you are on my Discord, some of you aren't. So if you're gonna send me something like that, do me a favor and like put it in a Google Doc or a PDF that I can go to the web and look at, so that I have a link to check it out, right? Or if you really want, put it in your Dropbox and give me a Dropbox link or a Google Drive link, and I can look at it like that. Just anywhere I can look at it on the web, and I don't have to download it, okay? Right? Up to 2,000 words. You want to send me your novel, I'll do the first 2,000 words of your novel, or start with chapter 5 or whatever else you want, right? Other people in the chat can offer their comments and suggestions as well, right? And but the usual rules apply. If you highlight the message, you get priority. If you're a subscriber or a patron, you get priority, right? Otherwise, just I'll do it in order. We'll start at the beginning. We'll go for 3 hours. And at the end of 3 hours, ding, I turn into a pumpkin, and we'll have to maybe set up another community challenge to do another one closer to the end of the month. What I missed while I was gone. Lorraine says, or just be able to connect a person to a timeline or timelines. Yes, that would be handy too. I agree with that. And then she said, thanks for having us. Well, thanks for coming. It's awesome. Kahuna says, I got 2 articles done during the stream. Fucking A, man. Good for you. And then he put the link to the Anvil streamers. So definitely check that out. Follow their world so you can get the notifications. I did. And, you know, I'm going on the Discord. I'm going to volunteer to help out. I already told Amy, Shy Red Fox, that I would be willing to help out. I didn't realize it was taking up so much of her time that she wasn't able to participate really in Camp Nano. So, you know, that's unfortunate, and I, you know, don't want to see that. So, all right. And in the meantime, my Discord, if you guys care to join me there, I'll put the link. You're welcome to. I think that's right. Yes. No, I was in member streams there. I want to be in the general chat when I do the invite. Okay, there we go. Please do me a favor. Nobody ever does it, but please do me a favor. If you join me on my Discord, please fill out the introductions channel so I know who you are and where you came from. Because, you know I must have invited you if you join the server, right? Occasionally we get 1 or 2 people from the world pages, but mostly it's from these streams or, you know, something I said on Discord or whatever else. And your name may be different from where I encountered you, and I don't know who you are. And I kind of want to know where I know you from, because a lot of the roles are based on, you know, whether you're an Anvilite or a writer or, you know. All right, and DM tells me that they have the same name on Discord, so that's helpful. Cool. That's great. Thank you. Yeah. But anyway. Zog Mad Dog is streaming if I'm looking for a person to raid. I certainly am. I was just about to do that. Thank you. We will certainly go check out Zog. Zog was great. I really enjoyed his stream the other day. Whoop, shoot. Oh, there's my channel. Sorry, guys. Okay. My stream manager is muted. My regular channel is not. So we'll raid the channel. And this time I'll actually turn the damn thing off. right? Other people who are currently streaming right now, if you are into a non-World Anvil stream, I'm doing kind of World Anvil writing related stuff for this month. You know, that's kind of my spotlight. But Itanchi is also streaming, and so is Misfit Mina. They're both excellent writers. I checked out their streams, right? Itanchi is one channel, right? Oh, unrecognized command. Okay. Anyway, Itanchi is the name of the one, right? And Misfit Mina is the name of the other. If you're into more writing, you know, traditional writing stream, right? And for those of us who are following Mad Dog, we're doing it right now. So start the raid here and wait for it to tell me that I can do it. All right, and have a good evening, afternoon, or morning, everyone, and I will see you hopefully on Sunday. Bye-bye.